What's up, everybody? Yes, indeed, man, I am back. Check this out, man, what you guys have all been waiting for. You guys were asking why I took down that video that I reacted to about the homie reaction about Mr. Dub's paperwork. So, I didn't really want to speak on it, but I need to speak on it. I feel that I have to, okay? But first and foremost, remember, this is a fitness channel with a twist, man. And this is what I do. I talk about fitness, nutrition, or overall health in general. I give out free advice on how to break limited beliefs when it comes to your overall fitness journey. And the reason why I do this is because I've done it myself. I applied my blueprint that I provide for others to my daily life. And it's a very successful blueprint. Anyways, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Put your notification bell on all. Once I reach that 10,000 mark, we'll start doing lives. I wish I was running a live today. I still feel like doing a live behind this topic, but we'll see. If the audience asks, maybe you shall get a live, you know. I'll leave it into the audience's hands. So, with that being said, I said I was going to bring up a keto diet. Talk what a keto is. What the keto is. The ketogenic diet puts you into a state called ketosis, okay, people? Ketosis is when your body switches from using sugar as fuel to using ketones as fuel. To do this, you have to lower your intake of carbs and sugars. This includes grains, starches, sugary drinks, bread, pasta, candy, and fruits. Yes, fruits. You also want to limit how often you eat, okay? Because every time you eat, you trigger insulin. And insulin stops fat burning and triggers fat storage, people. Your goal is to lower insulin. The best way to stop lowering insulin spikes is to eat less frequently. I try to tell you guys time after time, man. I'm being attacked by a fucking fly right here. This doesn't mean you have to eat less food, people. It just means no snacking in between meals, okay? On a healthy keto diet, there is one exception to the no carb rule, and that is to eat vegetables. Just avoid the vegetables that are starchy, you know, like potatoes, corn, and make sure you eat anywhere from 7 to 10 cups of vegetables per day, okay? Now, after lowering your carbs, you want to consume a moderate amount of protein. Always eat meat with fat. Never go for lean or low fat. You know, once you've dialed in your protein, you want to focus on eating healthy fats. Fats will help you stay full and satisfied. Healthy fats include, you know, avocado butter, olive oil, animal fats, but avoid soy oil and corn oil. Telling you I'm being attacked by this fly. So once you get the hang of keto, you should add intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is simply cutting back on your meals and allowing your body more time to recover from insulin, okay? Here are 3 tips for intermittent fasting, people. Only eat when you're hungry, skip breakfast, and stop snacking. Very important. Now, just a minute here, people. It's time to get comfortable because it's time to move on to the topic that I said I was going to talk on. Let me get in my comfort zone here. Let me turn into the Mashika. Because this is Mashika talk. Let's just say that. But anyways, people. Yeah. So paperwork was dropped. Paperwork was surfaced. It is what it is. Coming from doing time, from when I did time, it was obvious that Mr. Dubs had paroled from one of them programming yards. Okay, coming from the era that I did time, them programming yards today that were established were would be considered a no good yard. Is it a full blown SNY? In my eyes, It is. And the reason is, I'm going to bring you to exactly why I believe this. Because what is right and what is wrong is wrong. I don't give a fuck. Every last person knows what they signed up for. Every last reason why someone chose to go that other way, only they know. I'm not going to sit here and argue for someone on what they did to prove whether it was right or wrong. They made their bed, they must lay in it. Okay. Now, I remember there was a point in time when Dubs had mentioned about 50-50 yards. That's something I never heard of, 50-50 yards. But I guess he he referred to a 50-50 yard as being those yards with curfews. You see, during my time, there was no such thing as 50-50 yards. There was yards that had curfews, there was S&Y, and there was GP. That was it. There's no in-betweens. No matter what you did, the day a person decides to take a step and go over there to the yard where they believe the grass is greener, you are labeled as no good. I do not co-sign anybody's behavior on why they went that way. I will not fight a battle for somebody that made their bed, because what is right and what is wrong. I'm not here to play judge or executioner, because them rules that I grew up by apply behind them walls. They don't apply out here in real life unless you're living that life. And if you're living that life, more than likely you wouldn't be out here in the free world. Okay, there's a lot of questions that was asked of me, and I'm going to refrain from even elaborating on them. Why? Because at the end of the day, what is right and what is wrong. I can't stick up for an individual that I know nothing of, and I'm not about to, because that person chose to make a decision to go over there onto that programming yard, which in my eyes is a no good yard. I don't know how the CDC works, whether you're assigned to that yard or is it by choice. Now, there's been times where people will be set up to be sent over, and that's your job to get off. That's them yards with curfews, because they're no good. Now, in this situation here, the administration is offering parole dates for lifers. Coming from my time, lifers were never given that opportunity. You were not going to parole on a GP yard being a lifer. Not coming from the umbrella that I fell under. And more than likely, it would have been the same with all the others, because there's just too much action jumping off. And I'm not going to get into detail about that, because it's none of anyone's business out here in the real world. Out here in the real world is where things count, people. I'm not justifying why people make decisions to go to that yard, because what is right and what is wrong. And in my eyes, you will always be labeled no good. What I consider a piece of shit, the next man may not. What that next man may consider a piece of shit, I may not. I'm still not making justification for why people went over there to that yard, because they're labeled no good. They will always be no good in my eyes. I have morals. I have ways that I was brought up. I can't kick it with an individual knowing that he's no good. I don't surround myself by individuals that are no good. I paroled in good standings. I'm going to stay in good standings. That same individual that went to the other side to get released, if we were to cross paths out here, would anything happen between us? Absolutely not. But I can't sit there and chop it up with them. Now, the circumstances are different and we cross paths in the system. Absolutely, I'm to be expected to do what I need to do because I do follow protocol. I will never go against the grain. No one is bigger than the program. And that's a perfect example for an individual that once played in the reindeer games knee deep in snow, even deeper than that, just to abandon what he used to do. It's a no-brainer. This guy's going to be a hot commodity for the rest of his life, especially when it comes to doing time behind them walls. A person that's out here in the free world now, depending on the severity of what he had to do to get to that productive yard, will determine on his safety out here in life. But every day in life is a gamble. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to get into detail about anything because that's here nor there. That man made his bed. Only he knows what he did. People could sit here and speculate all they want. Coming from the era that I came from, when I hear debriefing, that's because you had to go and do this on whoever you were doing things with and giving up valuable information, which would, I won't even, and I'm going to put my umbrella up here real quick, people, because the sun is starting to peek out. You guys already know I'm Backyard Boogie Studio, baby. You know, nothing fancy. I ain't fancy. I'm just little old me, baby, doing my thing. Full-time online fitness coach, and yes, I am a rambler. I know you guys have been waiting for this. You guys are probably expecting me to do some bashing, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep it real, you know what I mean? Because I don't have a dog in this argument. The paperwork that was produced out there, I think they failed to understand what these other content creators were trying to put out here on social media. They want to hear it from the horse's mouth himself that he paroled from an SNY yard. So that's why they keep on pushing the paperwork. But other people misinterpret that, and they're looking for him being a snitch. There's certain things that were said on there that I could point out, but it's not my job to point out, and I'm not going to. I just know what I need to do. Okay? And this is for you fucking trollos. You funny bunnies. You motherfucking mashikas out there that were always bashing me. I don't look for justification for anybody that goes to that other side. Anyone that goes to that other side will always be labeled no good to me. I will label them as being no good. So don't get it fucked up and don't get it twisted. Because if you were really about that life, you wouldn't be out here on social media doing what you're doing. Bumping your gums and talking a good talk and seeking validation from others to show support on doing what you do. Do your thing, chicken wing. You know what I mean? From my understanding, them yards are being integrated. I say it time after time. What are you waiting for? Get you a cargo and go shine like a motherfucking star. If not, you know what? I'm going to even stay away from that because you guys already know there's public access to everything and anything here on social media. I mean, if you feel about a certain individual, I mean, it's sure you could do your homework and find individuals. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So when you guys come on my channel and start bumping your guns and say that I support PCs, I do not. I will never support a PC. I've had homeboys that I've spoke of in the past that were done dirty. Were they forgiven because they went to the other side because they were done dirty? No, they're no good. I can't kick it with them. And I told you an incident where I went on my Sunday run day and ran into my homie. He's no good. He knew what time it was. Did I take action? Absolutely not. Because those rules that apply to me in there don't apply to me out here. I'm not part of nothing. I'm a full-time online fitness coach. Now, when I'm landed behind them walls in someone else's house and I'm a guest, I will follow the rules because that's what's expected of me, and I respect that. So you guys that are out here thinking that you know what really goes on, you really don't. You know, and I'm not here to teach you because this ain't the time or place. I tell you that right now. There's so much shit that's said here on social media should be left off the fucking band. The bandwidths is what you call it, you know, the radio waves. It shouldn't be out here on social media. But at the end of the day, hey, to each his own. I know I'm in good standings and I'm going to stay in good standings. And no way will I ever defend anybody that's going to yank me down with them for something that they did. You know what I mean? I'm old school. Homies, I'm going to give you an example. You know, this is one thing where I would make an exception to the rule of the way I feel about people doing time on that PC yard. And the reason is because this last time, when I was going through reception, there was this little old man. He knew nothing of prison. It was his third DUI. They broke him off for 32 months. This little old man was getting low-key bullied. Okay? You could tell he was scared, but he wasn't about to throw it in. But I guess someone put a whisper in his ear. He could go to medical and never come back. So basically what this old man did, since he feared for his life and had no clecha and didn't know what time it was, he low-key rolled it up. He said, fuck this, I'm going over there where they have barbecues. I ain't trying to stick around right here to get filleted. And I'm just being comical about this, people, okay? Don't think it's actual and factual. It's just me doing what I do, getting my clown on. So that right there would be the only exception to that rule for me, because that little old man came from nothing, never really got involved with the criminal life. No one took the time to lace him up or to reassure him that he would be okay on the main line, but instead they try to get over on him. They pump more fear in his heart. And he was a little old man. He was pushing probably close to his 70s. You know what I mean? And trust and believe, it wasn't from my umbrella, because that wouldn't have been tolerated. You know, the picking on him, clowning him, you know, it would have been very unacceptable. Homies would have got dealt with. But anyways, times have changed, people. I don't know the way administration runs their shit, and I don't care to know. I know, like I said, back in the day, in order to drop out, you had to have been part of something before you could drop out. You had to have dropped into something before you could drop out. And because someone was validated doesn't mean that they were part of something either. There was certain, how should I say, certain markings, certain billboards that administration used against you to validate a person. From my understanding nowadays, it's way easier to be validated. And like I said, I don't know. All of this is hearsay to me. And as far as the process to debrief, I've always wondered how these people know so much about that. Did they experience that? Do they know somebody that are they affiliating with somebody that's done that? Is that why they know the process? It just raises a bunch of flags, but it didn't interfere with my life, so I didn't take the time to look into it because I don't benefit by it. And I see people day in, day out trying to, I don't know what they're trying to prove about Mr. Dubs. I mean, like I said, if you came from the era of doing time when I do time, lifers weren't offered a date. And the only way they were paroling is if they ended up on the other side, the other yard. And I'm going to leave it as that. A lot of people are going to question some other things, and there's going to be a lot of unanswered questions because I know what you guys are getting at. And like I said, what is right, and what is wrong. We all know what the fuck we signed up for. Pressure will break a lead pipe. I've seen it happen many times. And I've told you about the individual that got snatched up. They found his breaking point. They found out he had a daughter. It was his only child. And they threatened to give his only child life. It was his little baby girl. So what did he do? He started singing. I've always heard that saying when I was younger going through the system. Hey, little homie, pressure will break a lead pipe, man. You just gotta watch it. You'd be surprised who will snap under pressure. And it's always the ones that you least think that will. And it usually is. So I never really understood what it meant until I seen things unfolding in front of my own eyes. It's a dog-eat-dog world, man. And I tell you right now, like I've told you guys in the past, but no one ever paid attention, CDC, the administration, they play chess. They're very good at it. They got people dropping kites on a daily. They know the lingo. Our job, I can't even get into that because that would be fucking considered like dry snitching, so I won't even get into that. They're constantly getting wheelers sent to them, and they're constantly being put up on game on the way we wiggle. So, us as well are some very good chess players. There's a logical explanation for everything and anything that goes on in life, whether it be out here in the real world or behind them walls. Trust and believe. If you really look deep down into it, it all boils down to business. Strictly business. Now, like Dubs had once said, those curfew yards were considered a 50-50 yard. We didn't know them as that back then. They were just a curfew yard. Now, from my understanding, there's actual 50-50 yards that have that title. They're programming yards. Now, I'm pretty sure those were created by the CDC administration, the brass, in order to bring in more revenue. Whether there's a hidden agenda behind those things, more than likely there is. They're sticking homies with piece of shits and seeing where they're going to get off, if they're going to get off where they're mad at. Because by them getting off, obviously the ones that wanted to get out are going to lose their date. They're disqualified. That doesn't take the grants that the CDC received from the state of California or from our government, the billions, to support that rehabilitation program. So it's a big business, people. Really, it is, And at the end of the day, I can't get into my beliefs on this because it would all be speculations. I never lived it. I wouldn't go to one of them yards. I would have to get off. I was never a lifer. I was on the installment plan. I was never put in the position to have to get off on them curfew yards. There was actually homies that landed in them curfew yards and sat there too long because no one laced them up. They didn't know. And eventually they got transferred out and went to another pinta. And then the homies asked where they were. Well, how long were you over there for? You know, hey, something came with that. And that same individual just ended up rolling it up. Why? Because no one took the time to lace them up. You know what I mean? It's a fucked up situation. So if you're going to play in the world of criminality, make sure you do it to the fullest. Don't just half-ass it, because you will find yourself in a wreck. Understand what you're getting yourself into. I'm telling you right now, the biggest motherfucking gangsters are out here in this free world, providing for their family, day in, day out, going through the struggles. You guys wouldn't believe all the bullshit that I go through. Not my personal life, but dealing with people here on social media. There's times where I feel like just saying, you know what, toma, I don't need this. I'm very successful in what I've done for my family, providing for my family. I've broken my limited beliefs. I do this stuff because it's therapeutic. It's something to share with my audience members, to teach them and show them other ways, that there's better ways. You know, if I done it, you guys could do it. Well, anyways, people, with that being said, man, this is a long fucking video, man. 26 minutes. I don't think it was going to go on that long, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? I hope you guys watch it all the way to the end. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, man. If you guys want me to touch on any type of subject, any topic, or anyone, just let me know. You know, I'm going to just start being me and just let loose at the lips. As long as I keep it respectful and safe, you know, I'll do what I do. But anyways, hit that like and subscribe button. 10,000 subscribers, I will start doing lives. If you want to get started in your fitness journey, highpowerfitness.net, baby. You already know, there ain't nothing to it but to do it. Now get up and get yours. Let's do this.